You are doing your best to survive. You're doing your best to make it. When it's time to rebuild and you make that decision to rebuild, don't let anyone make you feel bad for what you had to do to survive. Seeing that Q3 was my first profitable quarter, realizing like, yo, I'm still here. After all of that, I'm still here. Literally starting from being laid off in a corporate tech environment to today, almost a year later, sending my first corporate proposal after I was recommended to them. Hey, hi, good morning. It is Friday, September 5th. I am just finishing editing this video for you guys. We're about to get ready to have my interview that I'm talking about in this video. And I just wanted to let you guys know, first and foremost, this video is chill. It's quite calm and cozy. So if you're in the mood to look for something quick, fast-paced, like energetic, this is not it. But what I would recommend is another video, which I will put in the card somewhere. In my long form content, I like to keep it quite long and just chit chat, cozy type of vibe. So if you're down for that, keep watching. If you need something a bit more upbeat, a bit more hype, go ahead and watch last week's video or any other video from my starting over playlist. Okay, I'll see you guys on the other side. Hi. It is the last day of August. Tomorrow is Labor Day in the US and in Canada. I just wanted to film something just for the sake of it being the end of summer in the Northern Hemisphere. Yeah, I've been sitting here mostly just figuring myself out today. I've been reflecting because, Sunday, just reflecting on how this past week went. It was pretty good, pretty impactful, a lot of new, a lot of old stuff coming up that I needed to deal with. Yeah, I just wanted to share it with you guys. Just wanted to give you guys the deets. This is part of my journey of sharing my business process, my creative process, my endeavors. By the way, it's about to be my first year anniversary here on YouTube, where I uploaded my video about me being laid off. So that's gonna be interesting and exciting, something coming up, which I might do a reaction video. By the way, if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments. Anyway, let's get into this week's reflection. I'm gonna just grab my iPad. I usually use Notion to log my business stuff, like as a content tracker, client tracker, outreach tracker. By the way, if you're interested in how I set up my iPad and how I use my iPad as a creator, let me know if you're interested, because I'm trying to get more comfortable into a phase of just trying things out, experimenting for the sake of doing so without attaching it to numbers or followers or whatever, literally just for the sake of creating, and also creating things that you guys like too, that you're interested in. But I'm going to my HQ, my August content tracker, and this is also where I just keep track of my weekly wins. This past Friday, I took down my weekly wins. It's something that I'm really trying to get more in the habit of doing, because I usually reflect on just the wins, the celebrations, what I've been through, whether it be at the end of the day or in the moment, just realizing like, wow, I've really grown from this. Like, actually take a moment to just like bask in that for a second. But I'm trying to use my actual project tracker and planner to write down, if not like journal it out. So this past Friday, I wrote down updating my taxes, seeing that Q3 was my first profitable quarter, collaborating on 2 new projects, sending my first corporate proposal, and finding multiple solutions through a hell of a storm, excuse me. Oof. And I also want to add to that, realizing that I have so much to work with that I really don't have to be pulled down to niche down into one thing, because that's something else that I have been sort of dealing with this past summer as I've been in my own reflective state. I know I spoke about in a video that I recorded recently that I've been in a hermit summer type of mode. Instead of like going out partying, whatever, I've been mostly reflective and just to myself, really finding what truly speaks to me. It's huge. It's huge to really find yourself. Yeah, so up first is updating my taxes and seeing that Q3 was my first profitable quarter. Q3, which by the way, in case you didn't know, for United States businesses, we do our taxes, our business taxes quarterly. For the first 2 quarters of this year, they were quite dim, quite dull, and honestly, since I founded my LLC, my business, in July of 2024, I have not really had great positivity in that department, a lot of growth in that department. For almost about a year or so, I was in the neutral or negative for the amount of money I was putting in versus the amount that was coming towards me, because I invested a lot into myself and into my business and even into education too, which that's another video. The amount of groups, programs, education that I have been in, what I would recommend if you are looking for a community in the business space. Anyway, I've invested a lot into myself, into my business over this past year, and because of that and because of other things that happened in my life, mostly the fact that I was still grieving from everything that happened to me, from still trying to pay off debts that affected my last apartment due to a flood that happened, the death of a very close family member. I was laid off. I had to move. I was still grieving from all of that while I was still trying to find a way and make a way on my own as a, whether you want to call it a freelancer or as I just call it, a creative entrepreneur. Actually, I spoke about this transition process in my grief video. I'll put in the cards somewhere. And I also spoke about it in a Substack post that I created for a case study that I had. It's actually a website that I created for myself as a celebration for what I've been through that entire year, and, you know, realizing like, yo, I'm still here. After all of that, I'm still here. And yeah, I might not have the profit margin that I want. I might not have the exact net worth that I want. I might not be getting the type of high ticket clientele that I want. I still might be trying to find confidence in myself, and the best way I can do this is by building a whole experience for myself, is by really getting into that Leo energy and celebrating myself, you know? So I built a website for myself in the middle of all this. I'll link to that Substack article in the description. And yeah, it was such a beautiful experience. From that end, that was like holiday season into January, I really hit the ground running, because on that site that I created for myself as like my personal virtual hype man, I also used it as a semi-manifestation type of thing. Like I wrote down the goals that I would want to have per quarter, and I gotta say, I've been reaching them. It was actually really nice to look back on and be like, yo, I actually hit these goals, and you know, the manifestation be manifesting, like turning your pain into beauty, like really the whole butterfly cocoon process. When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. When you get lemonade, make lemon margaritas or limoncello. Like, you know, work with it. Make something gorgeous out of it. Because of that, I have had my first profitable quarter, which was this past summer, which also happened to be the time that I got so many rewards, also more lessons, which I spoke about in my video for this past June. And I received a lot from this time period, including my first ever profitable quarter, which leads me into the next few things. Collaborating on 2 new projects. Also, one quick thing, go ahead and like and subscribe if you haven't yet. And yeah, so as of right now, I am currently in the process of filming for one social media type of project that I'm doing with a friend of mine who is also a business owner. She is a podcast manager, and it's basically a win-win type of deal, because I get to promote what she does and she gets to promote what I do, and we're creating content together. And I'm building a site for her and also building a brand for her too, or at least the foundations of the brand, because she already has the building blocks, but together I'm showing her how to build at least a mini strategy just for the site that she can use elsewhere. She has like a good idea of things, but she needs a place to put it. So we're going to be able to put it into a document and use that document to create her website. Another collaboration that I'm working on will be continued this Friday. It's technically like a podcast type of vibe. It's reminiscent of like cosmopolitan questions. You guys know like those like cosmopolitan type of like magazine quizzes from like the early 2000s, mid 2000s, where you would flip through the magazine and there would be like quizzes. You know the vibe. So basically what I'm gonna do is go through a small interview process where I'm gonna be asked like Cosmo type questions, like freestyle, about a topic that we both agree on. The first Friday in September, we're gonna be filming, and I'm really excited. Yeah, and this person, she's great. She found me through my Substack post about how I make my way being a multi-hyphenate creative, a multi-passionate creative, opening up about how I find my way through all of everything that I want to do, and of course expectations when it comes to life, when it comes to what people should be doing by the time they're a specific age, if they are a specific demographic, you know. Anyway, if you're interested in that article, I'll link it down below. So I'm really happy and excited about that. And I'll share more soon on my socials. And yeah, I'll keep y'all up to date. Number 3 is sending in my first corporate proposal. Now, let me say, this was such a huge deal for me because, girl, the last time I did anything with corporate, anything was when I had a job with corporate. So the fact that I have healed enough to call this opportunity in, maybe, like, if you know, you know. If you know my story about what happened to me in corporate, and mind you, this is a corporate data tech healthcare company, which if you know, you know, you know. Some of y'all actually might not know. I worked in tech where we did a lot of data type of sales situations. And personally me, I worked with a lot of teams on healthcare, a few different healthcare sales deals as well. So it's a triple whammy. And then corporate. It's the fact that it's corporate. They came to me, and I'm really happy about it. I don't think I would have been able to do that without processing, without having the time and space to process and to fully grieve my previous chapter working in corporate, and releasing resentment too. Because that's another thing. If you're working on calling something in that is a level up to a situation that you've been in before, one of the best things I can recommend is feeling your feelings out, but releasing resentment and expectation. And both of those takes a lot of time, you know, give or take, depending on someone's skill level with how they personally process, how emotionally adept they are, how emotionally intelligent, how emotionally mature they are. It also depends on what you've gone through in life and also what you're currently going through, if you can actually handle it. Because sometimes we can't, and that's okay. I'm just really glad that I was able to do that. It was extremely validating to receive this opportunity. It was an opportunity that came, I was a recommendation. A friend of mine recommended me to this company, and I've always wanted that. And it's something that I'm still calling in, is like more recommendations from people. It just feels so validating. Like I was already working on validating myself for everything that I've been through, for the knowledge that I have from my previous jobs, my own experience. Yeah, I might not have a college degree, but I still know because I've worked this out. I've done this. I've lived this out. To get this opportunity, as I am a designer who was recommended, as I am a designer who knows exactly what they want. It was just so reflective of what I was experiencing on the inside. Like, it's one thing to self-validate, but to finally receive the validation outside when you are not used to it, coming from a space where previously you have been said that you're not enough, you're too much in other areas, that you need to do better. Huge, amazing. And I'm so grateful for my friend for recommending this opportunity for me, and for recommending me as a great fit for this brand, for this company. And I don't know, we'll see what happens. It was such a full circle moment when I sent that proposal email. This is totally part of my journey here Literally starting from being laid off in a corporate tech environment to today, almost a year later, sending my first corporate proposal after I was recommended to them, after they requested a proposal from me. It's huge. And then finding multiple solutions through a storm. This one, it didn't really have to do with business. If anything, it would have affected my mental well-being, which would have affected my business. But there was a financial situation that happened to me this past week, 2 of them actually. And honestly, I don't speak a lot about my financial situations because I want to be mindful of maintaining parts of my life that are private to me. Basically, what had happened to me was late in this past week, I received 2 notifications from 2 separate banking institutions. One of them, I was able to work out a deal after we spoke, and I was honest and vulnerable, told them about the hardship that I've went through this past year, about like how this is my first profitable quarter, and I intend on this being a pattern of I will continue to be profitable and I will continue to be able to afford the plans that I've made with them. It was a successful communication. It was amazing, and I'm really grateful that I was able to find the specific people that I found to just help me find a way to rebuild my wealth and continue making a way forward. And the second communication that happened with the second institution was completely the opposite. So much so that I was shaking at one point because of the accusations being just pelted at me verbally. And honestly, I was talking to my mom about this, and she was just like, no, you did good. You did good, because it's their job to make you feel this way, which I don't know if it is, I don't know. But the people that I spoke to, because I came with 2 questions, and I was transferred from one person to the next person. The next person I was transferred to didn't even want to give me the time of day to speak, to be like, hey, why didn't I get a notification about so-and-so with this much of days in advance? Because legally, you're obligated to do so, and I didn't receive any communication. And how can we fix this? How can we rebuild from this? Because I came today to rebuild. I'm on a path of rebuilding. Girl, I could barely get my words out before this man just started accusing me of being so many words. There's a difference between what I'm asking of you and what was legally obligated, which you guys did not deliver on, versus what you're saying. Let me just cut this down real short and sweet. I was requesting 2 things, and I left with nothing other than having to stand my ground, remain calm, and I took my business elsewhere. I'm saying all of this because I just want to share that, no matter what happens with this specific situation, I have communicated. I have shown up the best that I could. And your credit score is not your name tag. I've had a fantastic credit history, stunning, amazing credit history. This past year, my credit score has gone down drastically. It does not reflect my actual history. It does not reflect who I am. And I want you to also understand that if you are going through any of these layoff situations, especially in the United States, especially if you're young or if you've never been through a layoff, you are doing your best to survive. You're doing your best to make it. You have to use what you have to use to stay afloat. When it's time to rebuild and you make that decision to rebuild, don't let anyone make you feel bad for what you had to do to survive. But anyway, I was able to see such a wider frame of view after these 2 situations right before the weekend. And I was like, you know what? I'm so glad I experienced both of these types of situations, because it showed me like no matter what, I'm going to be okay. I'm still showing up. Nobody could truly call me out of my name unless I give them the power to do so. People can talk all they want, but you get to decide what those words mean to you, if you're going to internalize them, if you're going to internalize projected emotion towards you. Boundaries, baby, boundaries. And then the 4th thing, this summer has definitely been like a hermit summer for me, hermit girl summer. And I experienced a lot. I went through a lot. I found a lot within myself. I wrote one of my last Substack posts, I wrote about how I recently found old journal entries from 2023, and everything from 2023 to, recently, this past year, like this actual past summer. And I was just looking over these entries and just thinking like, wow, I really have come so far. Yeah, there are things that I still didn't get, which is okay. I'm still working towards it. But I have gotten so much of what I wanted. Like, I kind of want to go grab my journals because they're right here. Actually, hold up. This is actually a journal that my French teacher my senior year gave me, and if you're watching this, I only started using this journal, I think, like for real, for myself as a journal in 2023, but thank you, I used it, and I'm just really grateful if you're watching this. My authentic code kind of changed a little bit, but at the time, it was luxury, grace, build, and creative passion. My manifestation list. So learn more on sustainable fashion and start thinking about building pieces to market, which is another thing that I want to be doing. How can I find vendors? What are the fabrics? What are the distinctions? What makes something sustainable and actually like greenwashing sustainable? It's actually how I found some of my favorite pieces that I wear today from one of my favorite luxury sustainable brands, Blue Salt. They're made in Malibu. Honestly found out about them because of Meghan Markle too. You know. But yeah, a photo shoot for products that I'm selling, attending 2 community events before the end of the year, saving $5,000 to move out early, even as simple as finding PG tips in the store again because I couldn't find it for a minute, saving $14,000 to jump off the corporate cliff. 3 months of savings. That was a major manifestation, and I did it. Work with brands that I love as a remote freelancing creative. And it keeps going. I have like so many things. Luxury flights to and from the UK, spending more time with my family and friends, building deeper connections, meeting 4 more aligned expander designers that are based internationally, 200 new followers on my art design Insta, having financial security again, spending knowing that there's nothing to worry about. Yes. So reflecting on that, reflecting on so much. But anyway, one of the main things that I wanted to talk about was I realized it truly is all good. And I'm saying that from a place of acceptance, because it's one thing to want more in life, but it's another thing to genuinely be happy with what you have. That's actually something I've been thinking about this past week, because this week was the last week of August, but the week before that was the week of my birthday. And during this time period, I spoke up in relationships. I asked what time it is. I asked what time it is in some dynamics, I was like, what are we doing? Truly, what are we doing? I spoke up for my needs in a way that I've never done before, because I realized that the type of connections that I want in my life, even with my family, the people that already know me, what I want is different from what they want. At the core, it's the same, but it's like what I keep thinking of as love languages, I have a different love language and of course like a different personality to the people that I love in my life as well. And really coming to terms with this, also the fact that I'm a Leo. I like to be celebrated. I like to receive gifts that are intentionally thought out. I love quality time. I love taking time with someone who genuinely wants to spend time with me. And it's something that I've really had to sit and reflect on a lot. My needs, truly what I desire, what I've always wanted, because I've realized the things that I've desired, I've truly always wanted since I was a child. I was gonna say a little kid, but not this small, maybe like this small. I've genuinely always wanted these things that I still want now, especially when it comes to relationship dynamics. Something that I spoke about this past week with, while I was on a call with one of my collaborators, was how we both are seeing our birthdays as our own personal New Year's. We both take time to write down and reflect on what we've done, what we would want to do in the new year. I remember asking my assistant, because she's like, I was gonna say she's a little older than me. I was like, is this just what happens when you get older? Like, you just care less about doing the things for other people and taking time for yourself first and foremost. And she was like, yeah, that's how it is. And of course it's different for everyone, but overall we just agreed, like, yeah, this is just what happens when you get older. Like, the amount of cares that you give, the amount that you cherish your personal space and your time, especially when other responsibilities come in, whether you get a pet, whether you get a kid, whether you get a husband or a wife or whatever. Like, the more people that you have in your life, the typically harder it is to find time for yourself. For a very long time, for most of my life, I'm a Capricorn ascendant, if you didn't know. I just felt like this internal duty to be a support, to take on that struggle, to take on that role. I'm still processing through it. But the thing is, now I have more of an appreciation for the silence that I've been in. The silence of reflection, of being in hermit mode. Coming back to true love in myself. And finding that and being comfortable with actually loving myself and giving myself so much compassion and support when it felt like the world was falling down, when it felt like other things were being projected at me, when people that I never thought would leave left me. Girl, people gotta go through what they gotta go through, but you don't have to absorb it. So much happened, so much change happened. I got on my first podcast, which is the To Be Magnetic podcast, which no, I will not stop talking about it. I will not, because like, why should I stop talking about it? Because like, it means so much to me, and it was such a great experience. It was great meeting with them, the team, and just getting the support from you guys too. I'm so happy just reflecting on this summer and what it's brought me, including just more excitement for myself and what the rest of this year will bring. So yeah, anyway, let me know what else you guys would want to see. I'm in a space where I just want to create, but I also want to take into consideration what you guys want to see as well, like how I edit videos, maybe like a paint and sip but non-alcoholic. I don't know, a cook with me, go to a museum with me, which actually is a video that I do have. I am working on a go to a museum with me video. If you have any requests, let me know. I'm on this personal journey to get my stuff out there, and I'm gonna trust that, you know, my videos, my content will attract the right people will find my stuff. That's one thing. But also, if you happen to know anyone who is interested in the type of stuff that I post and my vibe and what I say, if you think anyone would vibe with it, go ahead and share this video with them. Share your favorite video. I'm really working on building my community, my following, my subscriber count authentically, and not through inauthentic, ingenuine marketing, schemey type of things. And I'm saying this because I will be posting a video soon. Probably a YouTube short about this, about some interesting emails that I have received. I'm really trying to grow my subscriber count authentically, genuinely, and I want to do so in a way that feels good, that's vibey, and that's chill and cozy and comfy, and yeah, okay. Anyway, that's that on that. And yeah, it's late now, so I'm actually gonna go and do my workout and then grab my dinner, and yeah, anyway, thank you. And I'll see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment if you found this video super cool or vibey or whatever. But anyway, yeah. Peace.